This
I
conference will now be recorded.
also have
Are you-
experience in SAP ERP.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
So
all
you
about
are
me.
from the scripting background. When you say you are into admin, have you ever done scripting also? As in, are you on the scripting side too?
No, just configuration side, not on the scripting side.
Mhm. So what's your technical background? As in, have you learned scripting anytime, or how is it?
I tried to learn scripting, but I didn't have any experience on that.
Okay, it's okay. Thank you. Others? Akshay, you there? Akshay, I think you're on
Hey,
mute.
hi, Saloni. I was just trying to, unmute myself. Okay, so I'm Akshay. I'm having a 7+ years of experience into a sales support, process automation, and reporting. So currently, I'm working for one of the companies in Pune, where as a sales rep, uh, with respect to that CPQ coding issues and stuff. And I also worked on a few programming languages like Python, Java, VB Script when automation is concerned, and I have done a few projects as well.
Okay, perfect. I think Monisha got dropped off. Somebody is she joining? Guys, let's wait for a minute. Let her rejoin and then we'll start. Let's hold for a minute.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, no worries. So can any one of you in this case let me know what have you guys heard about the tool? What do you have the understanding of service now? Anyone?
Yeah, ServiceNow was a ticketing tool in our project. I just thought it as the ticketing tool, but we can do more than that. And when
You have
compared
used it as
to,
a customer?
yeah, I just used it as an end user, not as an
Okay.
admin or any
Mhm.
higher roles.
But you have seen the tool, as in let's say for example you have to create incident and all, you know the process, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So all those raising a incident, service requests, all those things.
Mhm. Okay. Anyone else wants to add anything? What is service now?
I mean, pretty much the same. Like even we are using ServiceNow as a ticketing tool where we raise a case to IT team, and they resolve the issue.
How do you raise
Yeah,
a
and
ticket?
ServiceNow is a cloud-based ITSM technology. I mean, it's a tool.
Mhm. Perfect. So when you say cloud-based, what does it mean?
It's based. It's a platform. This platform is designed based on an ITIL,
Mhm.
and I mean, you just need an URL. You don't need a software to download. You just purchase
Perfect.
it.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So yeah, I think you guys have seen the tool a little bit. You guys have a basic idea of it. So yeah, you are correct on that, everyone. That is ServiceNow is a ticketing tool. That is, in any company, if the people want to use a tool for their communication purpose, what kind of communication we'll discuss in a minute, then they'll be using the ServiceNow. Now, the next question, what kind of communication? So let's take an example over here. Let's say I come to you guys and I say that, okay, what I want to do is I want, let's say I'm an end user and I want, suppose, a laptop from the company. That is, I have newly joined a IT organization, suppose. So minimal I need from my company is a desktop or a laptop so that I can do the day-to-day job assigned. What will I do in this case? One phase, I'll manually go ahead to the technical person. I'll first check with my colleagues and peer, where does my technician sit? Once I come to know their location, wherever they are available to, I'll just go over there, discuss with them that, okay, I'm a new joinee, so and so, give my reference, and try to get a laptop based on my profile, job profile. Now, think it this way from the technical guy's perspective. So, in a day, let's say, for example, suppose 10 people are walking to them and seeking their help. Obviously, maybe around, just a rough figure, I'm telling it to you, maybe let's say around 4-5 hours of that day is spent of the technical guy in helping the colleagues of him, in helping resources maybe belonging to the same department, other department, whatever the case may be. Now, this technical guy at the month end or maybe at the weekend, when he has to justify his level of effort to the manager so that his billability can be done and all those stuff, now because on a particular day 4-5 hours or maybe on a regular basis, it can also happen that few hours of him is getting utilized in helping the in-house employees in some kind of technical help. So obviously these hours he can't put it in a project, he can't do it something technical over there, correct? So in that particular case, if this is how the structure is going to be now, let's say after maybe a month or so, his manager asks him so that okay, these hours which you have utilized in helping the colleagues, they can't be tracked, obviously, because if something you are doing which is profitable, which is customer revenue generating, we know, yeah, we do have tools where we can record it and it becomes countable to the manager, because you can show okay to your manager, okay, this work was requiring so and so hours and I have done the investment over there, I have done the investigation over there, so yeah, it does make sense to him. But thing which you have done in-house, now you don't have a track of it. Let's say you have manually helped each other or helped the customer, or sorry, when I say customer, I only mean the in-house employees, the colleagues. So when you are helping the colleagues as a technical guy, now if you don't have a tool to record it, obviously for you to justify your effort gets wasted. You're not able to do that. In that case, always we'll prefer what? In that case, always we'll prefer if we can have a tool where this can be recorded. So the answer to that is what? The answer to that is your concept like ServiceNow, that is a ticketing tool comes into picture. So the use of a ticketing tool is what? The use of a ticketing tool is any company, if they purchase a ticketing tool, its employees use that ticketing tool for the interaction purpose within the organization, within the employees for any kind of technical help. That is, if someone needs some new offering, then they raise a ticket. If someone has something and now facing issue, again they raise a ticket via these ticketing tools. The ticketing tools are never exposed to the customers, so they are never generating profit or revenue to the company. We only need it so that the organization has even track of the technical help which end user is seeking from the in-house employees, or employees is helping, the technical guy is helping the end user. Just to track these kind of effort, we are purchasing, every company is trying to use a ticketing tool. Does that make sense till here, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when I say ticketing tool, is ServiceNow the only tool with that concept? Now let's try to get that answer. So prior to ServiceNow, there were a number of other tools having the same designing, same structure. The best competitor of it to talk about is a tool called Remedy. Remedy is also based on the same structure, same pipeline. So what ServiceNow is doing over here in this case is that ServiceNow is saying at any given point in time, whenever we are doing the configuration, whenever we are doing the structure, we always need to remember that if a tool is based on this concept and whatnot, like I told you, if n number of competitors are there, obviously when your company is bringing similar kind of concept, the company has to offer something extra. As I told, if mentioning some of the competitors, so major competitor I would talk about. So the major competitor of ServiceNow was the first tool almost with this particular designing, which was very famous, was IBM's product, IBM Tivoli. Similar was HP's product, HP company product. The product name was HP Service Manager, HPSM was the name of it. The third tool, major competitor, was Remedy. And last but not the least, with these structures, even Jira was there. Little, not exactly Jira will be a competitor, but yeah, a number of applications are even similar in your Jira tool. So this guy who founded ServiceNow, who was initially working into Remedy, but Remedy was not cloud-based. What does that mean? We'll see it in a minute. So Remedy was not cloud-based. So obviously, when he had to launch a new product with a similar concept, he has to give what? He has to give some new features, some new functionalities, because of which the customers start using your tool instead of the already which the customers are comfortable with those tools. The customers do the swapping of the tool. For that particular purpose, the owner of the tool service now is Fred Luddy. This guy came up with a concept in which he told that, okay, let's design a tool and make it cloud based. So the similar concept with the other tools, but the only difference is this particular tool is a cloud based tool. What do we mean by cloud based? Anyone?
Which can be accessed from anywhere. I mean,
So how will we
we just
access the tool then?
we just have to log in and we can access the tool from anywhere. It will be in the cloud, so we don't have to install any separate machine for accessing the tool or so. So we just have to log in to the credential which we have been given, and we can access the service.
Correct. Others make sense? So any tool, if it is cloud based, the best example of it to understand will be maybe your Gmail, your YouTube, and all those stuff. So when we start using Gmail, you just have to create your account over there so that we understand, okay, which person is trying to log in and whatnot. But over there, at any given point in time, system never asks you to do what? System never asks you to go ahead and have some prerequisite download, like some software, hardware, such kind of prerequisites are not there, because whenever you open your Google or Gmail or any such stuff, their database is stored there in the cloud. That is, you are accessing the tool. Like you can see, I'm logging over here. You can access the tool. How? You can access the tool through the web-based interface. Means the only prerequisite which you have for these to be used is you have to have internet in your laptop or device from which you are accessing the tool. Now, when said, so what benefit was it giving with respect to other tools? So the concept is called here at any particular point in time, if whenever you are designing a tool and structuring it up, any tool actually can be purchased in two ways, guys. One, platform as a service. Second, software as a service. So now that's what we are going to do is, if I open the notepad over here. So I'm saying two of the concept difference now we are going to cover: platform as a service, software as a service. We'll cover the slide in a minute, guys. I'm just trying to build a baseline over here. Now, when I say a tool, whatever the tool may be, it's not required, it's not related to only ticketing tool. It can be any kind of tool. Like I can even talk about the structure of a library management tool where you are managing a tool, designing a tool as a developer, which has maybe two fields. Let's say one for the book the person is purchasing or getting recorded from the library. Second, the person to whom the book is allocated to. So at any particular point in time, what we need to understand over here in this case is what is, we need to understand at any point that whenever we are doing the configuration, whenever we are doing the behavior, when we are purchasing the tool, if any tool, we are purchasing the tool as a platform as a service, means what does that mean is that entire platform of the tool now is there into your company's responsibility. That is, the database change, the server change, if any such kind of change or alteration has to be required, now your company is going to be responsible for all such stuff. That is called what? That is called the platform as a service. Means if you purchase a tool as a platform, the entire tool has been delivered to you in as a platform. So the database structure of it, the server structure of it, each and everything has been delivered it to you. Your company is now going to take care of each and every of these aspects over here for your company. The owner company is no longer going to be responsible for any kind of stuff. That is called platform of as a service. Suppose if, for example, if my company is selling library management tool as a platform as a service, what does that mean? It means in that particular case that the in the case of platform as a service, now the moment owner company is selling off the library management tool to my company will have to take care of the enhancement of the tool, maintenance of the tool, database server, all those kind of aspects. If any such issue happens, parent company is now no longer responsible because they have sold the entire platform to you. Okay. So now next over here is software as a service. If you purchase a tool as a software as a service, in that case, what are we doing? Whenever you are purchasing a tool as a software as a service, in that particular case, you are only purchasing, the tool owner is only giving it to you, the tool as what? As a platform. Means in that case, what happens? So in the software as a service, you are only using the tool as a software. Means web-based URL is given it to you by your customers. You are just accessing those URLs. But the backend of the tool is how? But the backend of the tool is still getting maintained by the owner. That is the database server. They are still getting maintained by the owner. So you as a customer, you don't have to worry about how the backend has been structured or designed, because the tool owners are still providing you 24/7 on your tool backend or the structures and stuff like that. So anytime if the DB or the server is giving you issue, you just go ahead, you create a ticket and you get the help. So similar is the designing over here in this particular case. That is, in this particular case, whenever we are seeing the structure, wherever we are seeing the designing, we always need to remember that when we are designing a tool as a software as a service, the overhead on the parent company is obviously lesser. Why is it less? The overhead on the company is lesser because if we are designing the tool as a software as a service, in that particular case, as I told you, the tool owners are going to take care of the database and server of it. Is that making sense over here, guys?
One question, Saloni. So platform as a service, can it be on cloud or it should be on premise?
It will be on premise only.
Always
If
on
it is
premise.
on cloud, okay. One thing over here. Whenever you say platform as a service, if it is on cloud, but still the tool owners are going to take care of it, then it is a software. That is, for example, like if I talk about why did I told this difference over here is, I have even seen a company who wanted to use ServiceNow, but they didn't wanted to use the SaaS approach of ServiceNow. That is, they wanted to use the feature of the tool, but this concept of cloud they were not okay with. So in that case, ServiceNow also offers you PaaS platform support of the tool. In that case, as we know, PaaS means platform as a service, means in that case the database, the network of the tool, everything will be set up in the organizational premises. Means in that case the employees of the company will be accessing that tool mostly by the VPN authentication and stuffs like that. All the tools which are being used as a platform as service, they generally don't need internet because they are not in the cloud. They are supported in the premises of the company. Such kind of tool are called your platform as service.
Okay.
And as I told, ServiceNow software.
In
Yes,
case of software as a service, ServiceNow provides a cloud infrastructure, or can customer choose AWS like
no,
AWS?
they can't. No, they can't. Why? Because as I told you, like it's not only about the database who maintains it, but also when ServiceNow is offering you the tool as a SaaS, in that case, ServiceNow says, okay, if any DB issue you have or expansion or reduction, whatever you have, ServiceNow is going to own it. Also, if any DB issue, let's say the way the tool is structured, and that if any issue is coming, even that support it is providing it to you. So obviously, if it is there in the AWS cloud network, how will ServiceNow parent company access that DB? They'll not have full access and all those issues and constraints over there. So that's why ServiceNow is owning the entire DB and the structure of the tool. They're never exposing that even to your company, even though your company is a customer using the tool, purchase the tool, but still their control also is still in the control of the ServiceNow parent company only. You as a tool customer, let's say for example, if I talk about one of a real-time example, Apple company you might be knowing. So Apple is using ServiceNow as a ticketing tool. It is a real-time example here. So in that particular case now, if any DB and server issue of ServiceNow happens in their company, they just have to report it to ServiceNow. ServiceNow will, is as they're owning it, ServiceNow will take up the responsibility of looking into the issue and giving the fix. At any particular point in time, you as a customer company, or even though you are owners or the managers for that particular tool URL and stuff like that, but still you will not have the access to see the database or structure.
Okay.
Make sense here?
Yeah, Saloni.
Others, any query, guys? So now let's proceed further. Anyone was saying something? Sorry. Okay, if not, then let's see the slide now, guys, to get a rough idea over here. In this case, how does it work and whatnot. Yep. So, overview of the tool. What is ServiceNow? ServiceNow is a ticketing tool. It does what? It automates the common business process of a company. That is, whatever at any particular point in time the organization is doing, as I talked about the technicians, interaction, and all those stuff, those were already there in a company from the day one. Through the ticketing tool, we are just trying to automate such kind of processes over here. Okay. So now let's proceed further. The next thing which we need to understand is that ServiceNow is used as a software as a service. So as I talked about, software as a service means in this particular case, you're using the tool as a software. We are never bothered about how the database or the structure of it. I'm talking about the company who is the customer of ServiceNow. I'm talking about, let's say, Apple. So in this case, Apple will sign a contract with ServiceNow if Apple wants to use ServiceNow as its ticketing tool. ServiceNow will offer a dedicated URL for the Apple company, saying, okay, all your employees, when they need to do any interaction, they can use this so and so URL. And each company will have their own specific URL from ServiceNow perspective. ServiceNow will obviously not give a shared URL to your company. Each company will have their own URL. ServiceNow will say that, okay, I'll take care of the database and the maintenance part of the tool. Not only the DB, but let's say, for example, ServiceNow does offer a number of applications. So even if issue happens in such application, and if we as a developer, we have not changed it, if the customers are still using, when I say customer, from ServiceNow perspective, I'm talking about. Obviously, Apple company employees are using it, but from ServiceNow tool perspective, Apple company employees are customers to it, using the tool. So Apple company in-house employees, whenever they are using ServiceNow as a tool at any given point in time, whenever they need some help, okay, they went ahead, they did create the ticket and applications and all those stuff. But ServiceNow says, okay, if we, when I talk about we, now I'm referring to us who are going to enhance the tool. We can't actually, if you see, we are not the tool developers, because tool developers are who actually build everything. We are tool enhancers. We are going to enhance the tool to fit in the company's need. At any point in time, database structure we don't have access to. So many a time you will see in your interviews also people referencing that, okay, no, you are not the enhancer, but you are not the developer, but you are the enhancer of the tool, which is correct. We're just enhancing the tool. We are making the tool beautiful. We are designing new features, new functionalities, but anytime we can't own the tool from the company perspective. That's why we are not the real-time developers over there. You can see it that way. So whenever we as a developer, we get some enhancement request from the company to fit in their needs, ServiceNow says, okay, ServiceNow parent company is not going to do that for your company. ServiceNow says, I'll give you the structure which is there out of the box designed by ServiceNow. So if your company has some new features, new functionality which the company wants, which ServiceNow is not offering, in that case, your company can hire developers, people like us, who can customize the tool to fit in company's need. So means scripting and everything you are going to do as a developer, but actual DB level scripting you are not going to do. So that's why we are not doing SQL scripting anytime. Inside ServiceNow, we are going to develop our own scripting language, and that's what will be learning as part of this training. First, this training will be revolving around, guys, understanding the tool from the admin perspective. What does the admin do? What is their responsibility? We'll first explore on that. Once we'll be done with that, then we'll be proceeding further and we'll be exploring the next level of it. Understanding what is the developer part of the tool, what all scripting you need to write and whatnot. And we'll be ending this training by covering for you at any point in time, even your integration concepts of ServiceNow. How will we integrate ServiceNow? How will we make that tool communicate with any other tool into the market? So that is going to be our training agenda. Again, I want to be very frank about it. So ServiceNow has got a number of applications and number of aspects of it, I would say. I would not say application wise. Application wise, we'll try to cover most of it. But what we'll not be doing as part of this training is we'll not be covering discovery and the portal design. So what all will be done? Obviously, it is a 30-hour course. So it has to be more elaborative and all those stuff. So we'll be covering, as I told, admin, development, integration, each and every scripting. We're talking about workforce, client side, server side scripting. All those will be covered for you. If you want to get in detail of it, in depth of it to understand, okay, how is it configured, I would say go ahead, have a look into the document which we would have shared with you. If not, then you can request for that and you can get it, in which we have given topic by topic what all we are going to work upon. So you can have a look into that to understand how this training is going to revolve. Okay, anyone, any query till here? Okay, so if not, then let's proceed further. So as I was talking about, the second point says ServiceNow is provided as a software as a service. That is, this particular tool, when your company signs a contract with ServiceNow, your company will be getting a specific URL, as I told you, a dedicated URL, as I told you, and through that URL, you will be accessing the ServiceNow tool. As a company employee, you will be accessing the tool through that particular URL, that particular link. The next thing which we need to understand over here is, it says ServiceNow contains a number of applications. So we'll be covering those applications, as I told you, from admin perspective, from an end user, each and every aspect I'll be trying to show it to you across the training. Next over here is, it says it contains multiple users. What ServiceNow does for you guys is, ServiceNow says, okay, at any point in time, whenever we will sign the contract with ServiceNow, ServiceNow provides our company saying that the tool will be accessed, as in whenever a tool is there, if the ServiceNow is there, each and every one of us will have our individual account into the tool. And through that particular URL, we'll be accessing the tool. What will be the benefit in that? If a dedicated URL is given it to you and a user ID password is given it to you, now when you authenticate yourself through the user ID password, what are you doing? What benefit are you getting? The benefit you are getting in that particular case is that based on the credential which you provide, now ServiceNow knows, okay, who is the person trying to log in, and obviously what configuration you have into the tool. Based on that, the account logs in. That is, if I'm an end user, I'll be able to see some application. If I'm a tech person, on top of those, I'll also be able to see some other applications, so on and so forth. Correct? So based on the person's access, it will be decided what application the person should be able to see, what access the person should have, and whatnot. Next over here is what the next thing which we need to understand is, it says number of instances. If you see the term over here, instance, what does that mean? Okay, so what we need to understand over here in this case is that if a tool is getting used as multiple instances, so what ServiceNow says? ServiceNow says, okay, when your company is going to sign a contract with a ServiceNow, ServiceNow will offer your company minimum of 3 different URLs. So what will happen in that particular case? ServiceNow says, why minimum of 3 different URLs? ServiceNow says, okay, one URL your company will be using for development purpose. That is, we as a developer, if we have to enhance the tool, make it fit better and all those stuff, we will be doing the work into the development URL for the company. Once that is done, then the changes of the code, whichever we would have built it for a particular requirement, that will be moved to the next level of environment called your test environment. In the test environment, testers will be testing the requirement. They will be validating, okay, the things are good or not. And the third URL will be your final production or the go live URL, where actual customers will be using the applications. Does it make sense till here?
Yes.
Okay. So at any particular point in time, as I talked, 3 different URLs minimum ServiceNow is going to provide to your company. But again, if your company wants more URL, even that is feasible. But in that case, your company will have to pay extra apart from the base package. Like if I talk about my company, we also have your training URL, in which if the customers are new to ServiceNow, we give them the training and let them understand the process and all those stuff. Okay. So anyone, any query here, guys?
No, sir.
So if not, then I'll wrap it up over here, guys. Anyway, it was a demo in train class. We'll have another round of demo class maybe tomorrow mostly, and in that again we'll go a little deep dive further. After that, we'll be needing your feedback. So please try to join tomorrow also for the second continuous session. So whatever I'm covering right now, guys, these are anyway part of your regular training. So nothing we are doing other than apart from it and all those stuff. Okay. So if not, let's wrap it up over here. If you don't have any query, guys, if you have, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up over here for today.
Okay, so then just one question. I mean, post completion of this training, I mean, we are open to apply for any positions pertaining to ServiceNow developer, right? I mean, once we have gone through hands-on exercises, and after we giving like 100%, so can we apply for any open positions pertaining to ServiceNow developer, or would that be with respect to the ServiceNow admin? I mean.
No, once we are done with this training, you can easily apply for development, and that's what our target is. As I told you, we'll even be covering the integration. So we are just trying to give you expertise on all those aspects, be it integration, be it development. So that's why once this training is done, for sure, guys, you can apply easily with the developer profile into the organization.
Okay.
Don't do admin, as in I feel admin has a little lesser, visibility after a certain period of time. Like initial years, I know admin is very, good, because in admin you get on site and all those stuff. But after some time, when the tool demand decreases, not only service or any tool, then developer becomes a better scope. I feel that way. It can be different from person to person.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's why I was asking, like, we can apply for developer role. So,
Yeah, you can.
thanks, Rani. Thank you.
Okay, then guys, let's catch up tomorrow. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you, Suren.
Thanks.